German Chancellor Olaf Scholz has been visiting Nigeria as Germany looks for sources of liquefied natural gas. Germany has moved away from importing Russian gas due to the invasion of Ukraine. Germany also sees Nigeria as an important producer of hydrogen in the future. But Scholz also called for a close partnership when it comes to migration.
A German-Nigerian project in Lagos. Nigerians returning from Germany receive support to make a new start in their home country. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz visited the Center for Labour, Migration and Reintegration, an office that helps returnees find jobs.
It is good for them to have a future with being able to have income, to have a job, to have also the chance for founding business themselves.
And before that event at the German-run center, the Chancellor met with German-Nigerian entrepreneurs. Scholz addressed the migration issue in his speech.
More than ever before, we are offering legal pathways to come to Germany to work there. At the same time, those who can't stay under these new rules should be able to return.
A day earlier, Scholz met with President Bola Tinubu. The number of Nigerians who have to leave Germany is relatively high. Many no longer have passports, and Nigeria doesn't accept substitute documents provided by Germany. Tinubu promised to improve the situation.
We are ready to enter into partnership to improve our migration situation. People can go through the process as long as they are of good behavior and good character.
In return, Germany is entering talks with Nigeria aimed at establishing an acceptable quota for legal immigrants. But this requires a joint agreement, which is likely to take time.
Let's bring in Christoph Hoffmann. He's a member of the German Parliament for the Free Democrats. They're part of Chancellor Scholz's governing coalition. Mr. Hoffmann, welcome to the day. Now, let's get right to it. In an interview with the German magazine Der Spiegel, Mr. Scholz said Germany needed to ramp up expulsion efforts of migrants without permission to stay. Is this visit likely to help him achieve that?
I think every visit is good in Africa because it changes the mind, and also there is also learning lessons when you are in a foreign country and you see how the situation there is, and then you can judge much better what is it about migration.
So
and
what do you think?
I think this is a helpful.
Sorry to jump in there. What do you think will be the lessons that he takes back home with him?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of Nigerians who just don't want to come to Germany to work there because they prefer English-speaking countries. Then one of our proposals in Germany was we should have a second official language, which would be English. So because we need more labor force in Germany, and but if they don't want to come because our language is quite difficult and is a hurdle, so for a first step up, it might be helpful to clear this question of a second official language. And also our visa procedures are very complicated and very long-term, and they're outdated.
But you and I, we both know Germany establishing English as a second official language. That will take time, and it won't be a solution to tackle the current labor shortage that we have. So how can his visit actually help to bring qualified labor to Germany, which is sorely lacking at this point?
The idea is to bring up centers where there is a vocational training, just a basic of different skills, at the same time qualifying speaking German at a B1 level. So when once you got a B1 level, you can enter Germany and apply for a job there. And there's a lot of companies and small and medium enterprise who really need those people.
Mm-hmm. But many people leave their home countries reluctantly because they don't see a different option. They don't see options to have a good life where they live. Now, him going there, is that going to change anything to tackle the root causes of irregular migration from Africa to Europe?
I think the main source is that we have unbalanced wealth. I mean, Europe is by far much richer than sub-Saharan Africa. So as everything which is not in balance tends to try to get to the balance. So poverty is the main source, and this is something African countries can tackle Basically, it's good governance, and we have good examples. Look at Rwanda; they have a good result, and they have have been fighting corruption very hard and successfully. So the climate for investment is much better when there is no corruption and there is security. And so there are some examples where you can see how things could work and how you could attract investment from Germany and other Western countries.
Possibly in the energy sector. That is one topic that was on the table during Scholz's stay in Nigeria. But members of the Greens, your other coalition partner, say that it's basically a scandal that Scholz is asking for increased investment in fossil fuels in the global south. Where do you stand on that? Shouldn't Germany help African countries harness their wind and sun rather than dig into their finite resources like gas?
I mean, this is a very arrogant and neo-colonial approach the Greens are talking these days. And it's also very illoyal towards the Chancellor, because those countries need the exploitation of, like Nigeria has a huge reservoir of fossil fuels. Of course, it's not good for the environment, but those poor countries, they cannot afford to let it, to do not exploit those resources. Whereas the West or the northern countries are not willing to pay the same amount for other resources like renewable energy to replace those fossil fuels. And this is not the case in the next 30 years. So it's just a bridge towards a renewable age. And so this fossil fuels will be the bridge, and the gas from Nigeria will contribute to that. And also our economy really needs it. And we are already in an economic crisis. And this crisis is basically because our energy prices are much too high.
That was Christoph Hoffmann, member of the German Parliament for the Free Democrats, member of the governing coalition here in Germany. Thanks for your time.
Welcome.